field, but I think maybe the most fascinating entry point for us right now is J.R. Smith, the former NBA champion who recently enrolled at the HBCU North Carolina A&T, approved by the NCAA to compete on their golf team. He's been chronicling his journey on Twitter, entertaining all of us in sort of a fun but honest, I think, way. I think it epitomizes a lot of what we're going to explore in the issue, what the research that's been done indicates are, important steps for an athlete to be able to carve their own path. So what have you made of JR's story and following along with it online?
Well, it is one of the great stories, right? We've got all this craziness going on, the Malice in the Palace on Netflix, and it's sort of just an abundance of negative stories. And here's kind of this great story of I guess he's 35, 36 years old, played in the league for 16 years, made reportedly something like 35 million, or has 35 million in the bank. I can't quite figure it out. Whatever it is, in kind of the common sense way, in terms of money, doesn't need to go to school. I mean, it's not that he needs to find a way to make a living, but he needs to have a life. He needs to do something after he's done. I think he's really expressing that with a lot of joy, the idea of being in college, the idea of being a college athlete, golfing, and having fun, and having these followers on Twitter to share in this with him. So I'm hoping, the outcome is that there's some messaging that comes from this about this idea of no matter how much money you've made, no matter how many championships you've won, and he's won them, there's still this life after, and there can be some joy in that, an opportunity to go back. And I think it's a special angle too. I talked with Bill Roden today about this of going back to an HBCU.
Yeah, and I think there's also a part of it, obviously, and you kind of, I think we're getting at it with regard to the Malice at the Palace angle of the fact that it's J.R. Smith. And we've also seen for him the Twitter back and forths of, sort of take me seriously, right? I'm not the Hennessy loving, tattooed up, whatever you might have thought I was. I'm this, right? And I'm doing this, and it's serious, and it's not a joke. And, he came out of high school to join the NBA, and this is clearly what he wanted to do with his next chapter. He probably wasn't expecting necessarily to be done with the NBA. He's not, 50. He's only in his 30s. So I'm excited to kind of see it. I think it does epitomize a lot of this stuff and kind of shows us a different angle of what that can look like. It's not just going into media. It's not just, retiring into the sunset and nobody ever hears it. You can have that second chapter.